What up, YouTube? Daniel 4619 coming here. So, just got one card to show, but there's a story behind it. So, cards with stories, right? So, this one has, I don't know, I think a pretty, sort of pretty in-depth sort of story in a way. So anyway, a while back, like, okay, on my YouTube it shows the 1959 Mickey Mantle, right? So, the circle of it. Well, I kind of said, well, you got to put something in the circle. What's my favorite vintage card? I would say. I would say, yeah. Yep. Out of all of them, this is my favorite. So, what happened was, my dad, him and his brother, when they were little kids, they bought 1959 sealed pack Topps baseball cards, right? Open the pack up, boom, they pulled a 1959 Mantle, right? So, anyway, I'll first show you. It came in, this thing is gorgeous. So, I know I'm chopping up on my story here, but anyway, so what happened was, either while they were kids, they divided up all the, old card. They had a bunch of cards in the 50s and 60s too, I think. So they divided the cards up, and then on the back it even looks vintage. Has that kind of yellow, not yellow, but there you go back. So my Uncle Ray got the baseball cards. Well, not all of them, but he ended up with the 1959, and then my dad got some other Mantles or whatever. So they just divided it in half, all the cards they had, and they both ended up with good stuff. So what happened was, so this is kind of rough estimate, but my Uncle Ray had like this basketball. The big cards was like, he had one of these that looked just like this, except it wasn't trimmed. This was slightly trimmed. That's why I got an A for authentic. But other than that, it's gorgeous. Let's see. These two corners are soft, and these are sharp as a tack because this is where the trim went. But it's oh so slightly trimmed. I mean, anyway. So I love it. Great. So what happened was, they divided them up, and then years go by. So I don't know. I don't know when this was, but maybe I'm just throwing you 05 or something. But I knew one of the big cards that Uncle Ray had was this basketball rookie card, and it was kind of tall. See, I almost want to do like a recap video of all the times I left out little tidbits of information. I could just make a list, get the information, and go, this video, I meant this, this card, or I was talking about this. Anyway, and I did the research, it was like $4,000 for that one card. Now, all of his cards weren't like that, but that was like one of the big pieces. And the other one was like, I mean, it was like literally packed, pulled. I saw photos of it, and they pulled it. Uncle Ray put it in a sleeve, like in the the binder sleeve, and that was it. Didn't touch it again. One owner. And so anyway, so he had so he had all the cards. Then somewhere around 05, something like that, my dad was like, hey, I give you some money for your cards, right? And I'm just rough estimate. Let's say he had about $6,000 to $7,000, maybe $8,000 worth of cards. Uncle Ray did. And he was like, what do you want for them? Just And I think maybe at first it was like, I don't know what the first offer was. I think it was $10,000 or something. And then he was like, no, no. And then he said, okay, 15,000. Now, even to a collector's mind, this does not make sense, does it? That he's going to offer $5,000 to $6,000 more, 33% more for nothing, like than the monetary value of them. Well, even like a collector's mind can't even understand that kind of. But the only way I can understand it is that it was like, look, and I talked to my dad about this. I'm like, you're offering $15,000. He goes, yeah, just mail them to me and done deal. So anyway, the thought process behind that is, look, out of all the 1959 Mantles that were made, there was only one that was pulled on that playground when they were little boys out of that fresh pack. It was that one. It's so all the cards that Uncle Ray had were one-of-ones. It was, even though there's more of them out there, that's the only one that they opened up together. And so it had that much sentimental value of just that card, right? And well, all the cards. Anyway, so $15,000, he starts thinking about it. He goes, man, they're not even worth that. Even at the end of the rainbow, he could get, $9,000, and that's selling them individually, maybe eBay, maybe whatever. He'd have to put forth a lot of effort to get the end of the rainbow, and this is $5,000-$6,000 more than end of the rainbow, and it'd be just a done. Like, how easy would that be? But anyway, so somehow my dad persuaded him or whatever. He just said, okay, I could part with them. My brother will have them. My dad's not going to sell them. So he goes, okay. And I'm like, man, I can't believe it. Like, I just wanted to see the cards because I didn't see all the cards that he had or whatever. I just saw a few photos, and he gets to going in the garage and packing them up to ship out. And I'm not mad at him, but my cousin Mark goes in there. What are you doing, Dad? I'm shipping Uncle Vic my cards. He's like, why you want to do that? They're your cards that you opened when you were a little boy. And started getting all the sentimental. Oh, Mark. Oh, man. And so then he's like, yeah, you're right. And he pulls out of it. I mean, that was the end of the rainbow offer for there, $15K. That was nuts anyway. That was just, but he wanted to get his childhood cards, the other half. It's like the other half of the collection. So anyway, he pulls out and he goes, no, I'm not going to ship it. I changed my mind. So then a few more years go by, and Uncle Ray's house catches on fire. All the cards are now just ashes in the ground. Yeah, major fire loss. And so all of them are gone. They're burned up, ashes in the ground. And I just thought, man, you were this close from getting them. So anyway, after that happened, I was like, well, my dad's never going to get that. So I bought one for like, when vintage, I don't want to say that the market was cold, but it was a lot cooler than it is now. And so I bought one for like 115. It was no creases, nice Mickey Mantle. Nothing like the one they pulled, but I think it was off 40, 60. It was, and I mailed it to my dad, and I go, you know what? Here's a 1959 Mickey Mantle, because I know the ones he has. And anyway, he doesn't have that one because his brother had it. So anyway, I mailed that to him. He appreciated it, and I get it. He goes, I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And you know what he did? It's a real nice Mickey Mantle. Everybody and their mother would put it in a top loader, a sleeve, a magnetic, something, grade it, whatever. I mean, it was that nice of a. and that was back then, whatever. And he just throws it in a 9-page. He goes, listen, and he has like real nice cards in the binder, and he just puts them in the 9-card sleeve binder page, and he goes, listen, all these cards have been in here since before you were born, and they're doing fine in there. And I'm like, oh man, like, and there was nicer, older Mickey Mantles, and they were just put in the sleeve. They're still there, and I'm like, and I traded out. He had some nasty, old, oily, like, sleeves, like the first ones that, I don't want to say the first ones that were ever made, but I took his cards out and I put the non-PVC, the non-acid, all that stuff, and I put all his cards back in there. I go, look, I just changed out the binder pages. Had them look at them. Look, I just changed your binder pages because these are kind of oily. Throw them away. Anyway, so then he goes, I enjoy it, I appreciate it, but it's not the one I pulled when I was a little boy. And so it was that's the one he wanted. It was a 101, So, but he still enjoyed it, whatever. Well, then I was like, man, that's my favorite vintage card. And I could afford it, so I want to get it. So I delayed, kicked the can down the road, boom, vintage cards goes up. These last, 3 years, 2 years, and then I'm like, oh man, then kind of kicking the gut, right? Kicking the bottom. So anyway, I was like, and so then I don't know. As we said in the podcast, I moved my inventory. I moved it. I sold my inventory, and I bought my Grail. So anyway, and I guess to elaborate on that, I had some cards that I was just buying just for like sure investment, and I just looked at them and I'm like, man, like honestly, like this is just not even me. Like I don't enjoy these cards. I know of the players. I don't really follow them. These are, some of them were the hot guys now, invest now guys and stuff. But I was just like, man, hey, if I had to sell all these, then I could get one good card, my Grail card, because this thing was, it was right up, I'll put it right up to the amount, the end of the rainbow of what I spend on cards, pretty much. So anyway, that's that story. In Uncle Ray's house, and man, those cards went up in ashes. But yeah, I got it back. And in the words of Dave Archer, somebody's going to have to take them out of my cold, dead hands. Somebody will have to take this card out of my cold, dead hands. That's right. Because PC it goes.